you came forward with an idea called Make Wakanda Real.
Yes.
For those who haven't heard of your program, your effort, what is it, and why are you doing it? Because it's going to set the basis for this whole conversation.
Well, Will.i.am is so far ahead of humanity in a lot of ways in terms of his ability to bring culture, art, spirituality, a political consciousness, technology. And then when you take a step back from him, there's a big gulf in terms of what's going on in the Black community and the kind of conversation that's going on. And so for me, I thought it was really important, since we have someone who's already such a pioneer, how do you get other people at least engaging with the conversation? Well, luckily, Wakanda, which is, in the Marvel superhero universe, it's a Black African nation that is the most technologically advanced in the world. They're using technology for good. They're a heroic country. They also have culture. I'm like this. I said we should use this metaphor as an answer back to the despair, an answer back to the loss of
Feeling
hope,
of being left behind.
and a reality of being left behind in a lot of ways, where we're past Obama. It's not a hope and change kind of moment, and there's a lot of people who are really giving up. A politics of resentment in the Black community, a politics of despair in the Black community. And how do you fix that? What you got to fix it with hope, but it's got to be hope that has something to do with today.
Yeah.
And so about a year and a half ago, we said, well, why don't we go to FYI, where I got my brain blown open with all this stuff, and just bring the whole community there. And he opened the doors, and we had a simple event called Make Wakanda Real. And it was an amazing thing. Several hundred people showed up from the community. We could not get them to leave. And it was, and this guy breaks out in the middle of we're doing our talk, our interview, and with giving me no notice as usual, he just pulls out his phone, and the persona on his phone they start having a debate and arguments, and the people's jaws are hanging on the ground. Nobody had ever seen anything like this before.
I think I've seen the video clip.
Yeah. And it really started something. So now we have this whole movement now that came out of a Will.i.am shop.
So Will, take it a step further. What's success look like for this effort in 5 years' time? I don't think anybody can predict 10 years, but 5 years maybe.
That's a deep one. First, we have to address growth and what's actually happening on the continent of Africa and what's not happening on the continent of Africa.
But this is beyond just Africa. This is inner city youth in LA, in Atlanta.
Yeah, but
every place, right?
Yeah, but Make Wakanda Real is based on this Wakanda.
Yes. Okay.
And this growth that's happening on Earth in Africa. The majority of youth on Earth is in Africa.
Yeah.
That means 2040, 2050, the majority of the folks that are, leading companies, working at companies, because of the youth population in Africa, is going to be African.
I think people don't realize the demographics here, and I just want to take a second to address that. We've got China has been a dominant player. India has overtaken China in terms of the largest nation on the planet, with now 1.41 billion people. The majority of the world, putting Africa aside, is in a retrenchment mode. The population is dropping throughout the rest of Asia, most of Europe, the US, and so forth. And I've said this before, I think India is going to surpass China, and then what surpasses that ultimately is Africa, because of Africa's youth, because of its resources. Those two things together give it sort of this demographics and destiny.
So when you put that into the context, Make Wakanda Real is what? So that means 2060, a lot of people are going to look half Black, half Chinese, half Black, half Indian, which is awesome.
Yep.
It's a beautiful mix. So that collaboration that's going to help Africa boom is at China, Africa. It's already happening.
This is the what do you call it? The Belt and Road
Right.
program in China.
It's already happening. That's awesome. Is it India and Africa? That's going to be an amazing collaboration. Is it African American Africa? And that's what Make Wakanda Real is for African Americans. Borrowing from a Disney film on the Black Panthers, which in America, the Black Panthers were like dunzoed by
Yeah.
American infiltration.
It's interesting, right? Because
So just using these metaphors.
time has dulled that one down, and the Avengers has brought Black Panther to have a positive connotation.
So you see that I started there to show you where Africa is, the continent. And then there's the Congo. So if there was a rare mineral that is metaphorically like at
Vibranium.
par with vibranium, it's what's happening in the Congo now. So that metaphor is not like
It's not a huge
actual.
stretch. It's real.
It's pretty real.
For those who don't know, I mean, you're mining various elements and minerals in the Congo that are required for your cell phone, your CPUs, your GPUs.
And I think
So, and that being said, you said GPUs. I'm gonna land this fact on your word there. There are no GPUs on the continent.
None. No.
So here we are talking about Make Wakanda Real, and the African continent has no GPUs. So I partnered with this guy by the name of Strive.
I know Strive. Yeah.
So they're going to be Cassava is our partner to launch FYI on the continent. And on March 17th, we have an announcement to bring a cluster of GPUs to the continent. And we'll announce our partner on March 17th and bringing, the first, mega cluster of GPUs to the continent. It'll be like 4 or 5 nations that we're going to.
Where do you think you'll base them?
Nigeria, Egypt, Rwanda.
So basically, more entrepreneurial nations there.